Coaches for Montana State leaving the field today. That's one of the best coach teams that I've faced in my years of coaching. Their players, we just had more good players than they did tonight, but that's an excellently coached team. Both fronts are outstanding. The detail and the coordination and how they've coached them really is to be admired if you're a real football guy. And that was the first thing I wanted to acknowledge to Coach, and I can see why he's won 177 games with the detail that his team performed with tonight. We just had too many good players and guys who made too many big plays, and that's a positive for us. We've got a couple things pretty clearly. Our tackling on defense has to improve. It didn't get any better. We need a huge step up in that area. We didn't run the ball very effectively. Not real pleased with how that went, but I am very pleased with the kicking game effort. I'm pleased with the effort of a lot of different players to play hard in the kicking game. We had some things that didn't go perfectly, but I was very pleased with the effort that those players made in those areas, and we're counting on those plays. So we do have some things to work on. We were hoping for a little bit better in some areas, but we got the win. The wins are hard to come by, and we're very pleased with that. So with that, I'll take questions.
Ron, do these two ball games set you up well now for a game like Louisville, realizing that you've got a week and a half now to prepare?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. We'll see. We'll know better about some of the things that we're having difficulty with. If we tackle well against that team and can run the ball effectively, then maybe we will have learned our lesson and had a chance to improve on some things and had it brought to our attention. But I think the biggest thing for us is that we played a well-coached team, and the detail and the excellence in the performance of that team exposed a couple things in us that we could have suggested to our team was an issue, but now it's on tape. Unfortunately, it's also on tape for future opponents. And so I'm not trying to be, dour about it or down or macabre or any sad or anything like that, but it was a great win. We're happy to be 2-0 from that standpoint, but it was not a great performance. And so we all understand that, and we're not going to try to kid ourselves.
Courtney Herndon had the fumble return, the interception, the block punt. Yeah.
Mark, go ahead.
You're thinking early. It looked like you were rushing 12 and 13 at the time.
Say it again. What do you mean by that?
Well, you really got after them defensively and brought the house.
We were pretty convinced that they were going to run the football, and they did. And early on, we were bringing a lot of pressure, and their offensive line was so expert at picking it up that it really created a lot of creases in there that maybe we would not have thought that perhaps we would have had, and that was good for us. It'll force us to go back and review the coordination of those things. We knew that the main issue in the game was going to be running the football and trying to keep the tight end in check. That's how the game plan was set up. We were willing to expose ourselves a little bit on the perimeter. We did not want to have a great running effort against us by these running backs. We did not want to have a great effort by this tight end against us. And I can't say that that's exactly the way it turned out. We won the game, and from that standpoint, very positive, but there's still some things that we need to improve on. But yeah, we were trying to bring a little more pressure in the game, and I think, some of the players, Brandon Harold and some of the other young kids who had a chance to play and perform some of the things that didn't go well in the second half last week, they were able to play a little bit better, and that'll help our team ultimately. Go ahead, Scott.
Courtney Herndon, talk about him, please.
Courtney's done a real nice job for us. Until this week, I've just called him number 20. Since I've been here, started calling him by his name this week. He's done a real good job. He's on 4 special teams units. He had a sack last week. He's doing a lot of things we need him to do. He's focused in exactly the kind of role that he has, a role that was very similar to Antoine Moore's a couple years ago, and he's really accepted that, shown real good leadership. We're asking a lot of him, and he's really accepted that. I'm really proud of the kid. He's done a good job. We're just 2 games into a very young season. He understands that we're going to need him to be able to play at a certain level for us through conference play and these remaining non-conference games, and so far so good. I'm real pleased with him. He's a real positive kid, and I'm really happy that he's doing as well as he's doing. Yes, sir.
Freeman again, 16-21 today, but you had to be pleased with the way your offensive line played. I mean, there were a lot of times Freeman was in the pocket, there was nobody around for at least 5 yards, so you had to be pleased with the way your offensive line played.
I want to be pleased, but I wasn't. I don't think that we're not running the football the way that I would like. Once again, I'm not trying to be negative. I just think that there's a higher standard to be held to. There's a couple things from technique standpoint that we need to do better. It's not exactly, you know, we're our second game in and it looks like it. I expect us to be a lot better than this, and I think all of our coaches and our players expect better too, and we're going to work hard to make that happen.
You talked about lack of turnover.
Go ahead.
Considering the ease in which you guys won, was this a good game for your program to have at this point in the season, or would it have been better if you would have played Fresno State?
It didn't feel easy to me. I know what the scoreboard looked like, but we needed the game. We needed to perform well. We needed to show that we could win, and we did that. But obviously, we were exposed in a couple of areas, and we were able to learn that while we won. And so I'm very pleased with the